Che farò senza Euridice? Dove andrò senza il mio ben? Che farò? Dove andrò? Che farò senza il mio ben? Dove andrò senza il mio ben? Euridice, Euridice, oh Dio, rispondi, rispondi.
Orpheus Eurydike Hermes. Orpheus Eurydike Hermes. It was the miraculous mine of souls. As silent silver ore they went, like veins through its darkness. Between roots sprang out the blood that goes forth to mankind, and it looked heavy as porphyry in the darkness. Nothing else was red. Rocks were there, and unreal woods, bridges over emptiness, and that great grey blind pool which hung above its distant bed like rainy sky above the landscape. And between meadows, gentle, patient, appeared the pale stripes of the one pathway, laid there like a long paleness. And this one way they came. In front, the slim man in blue cloak, staring ahead, dumb, impatient, his stride ate up the path in great bites, without chewing, his hands hung from the fall of the folds, heavy and closed, and knew no more of the light lyre that had grown into his left hand, like rose creepers, into the trunk of an olive. And his senses were divided, in that his glance ran on like a dog in front, turned round, came back and ever again, stood far and waiting at the next turning, while his hearing remained behind, like a scent. Sometimes it seemed to him as though it reached as far as the going of those two others, who should be following this whole climb. And then again, it was only the echo of his climbing, and his cloak's wind that was behind him. But he said to himself, they were coming. Said it loud and heard it fade away. They were coming. Only they were two who came so terribly softly. Were he allowed to turn round once, he would see them, the two quiet ones, who silently followed. The god of walking and the distant message, the travel helmet over bright eyes, the slim staff carried before the body, and wing beating at the ankles, and his left hand given to her. This so beloved, that from a lyre more wailing came than from wailing women, so there was a world of wailing, in which all things were there again, wood and valley and path and village, field and river and beast, and that around this wailing world, just as around the other earth, a sun and starry silent heaven went, a wailing heaven with distorted stars, this so beloved. But she walked holding that god's hand, her stride encumbered by long winding sheets, uncertain, gentle, full of patience. She was in herself, like one with high hopes, and did not think of the man who walked ahead, nor of the path that mounted into life. She was in herself, and her deadness filled her like fullness, like a fruit of sweetness and of dark. She was so full of her great death, still new, that she could grasp nothing. She was in a new maidenhood, untouchable. Her sex was closed, like a young flower towards evening, and her hands had so forgotten marriage that even the light god's infinitely gentle guiding touch offended her as too much intimacy. She was no more that blonde woman who sometimes sounded in the poet's songs, no more the broad bed's perfumed island, no more that man's possession. She was already let loose like long hair, given forth like fallen rain, shared out like hundredfold provisions. She was already root. And when, of a sudden, the god stopped her, and with pain in his cry spoke the words, "He has turned round," she didn't understand, and asked him softly, "Who?" But distant, dark before the clear exit, stood one whose face could not be recognized. He stood and saw how on the strip of meadow path the god of messages with sorrowful face turned silently to follow the figure already going back down that path, her stride encumbered by long winding sheets, uncertain, gentle, full of patience.
Χωρίς την Ευρύδικη, τη δική μου που θα πάω, που θα πάω.